Hey, and welcome back. My name is still Fabian. I'm a former automotive strategy consultant turned digital product manager. And in today's session, we're going to talk about accelerating growth, specifically global expansion strategies for automotive OEMs, specifically in the automotive industry. And there is a packed agenda as usual. Firstly, we will be discussing kind of the general market and opportunities in the market in terms of global expansion. Secondly, we're going to talk about entry modes and market entry strategies. Thirdly, delving into the adaptation to local market conditions. Fourthly, we're going to discuss kind of regional focus areas before topic 5, government regulation and trade policy, followed by brand localization and marketing strategies, and topic number 7, supply chain and distribution networks. So quite a wide range, but this just illustrates how complex the topic of global expansion in automotive is. And to kick things off with the first topic, so the market analysis and opportunity assessment, there are various factors to consider for automotive companies, such as the kind of market size, market growth potential, the competitive landscape, the regulatory environment, and customer preferences when considering a global expansion. There are various tools and methodologies available for conducting market research and assessing market entry strategies. To highlight is that recently, when we think about kind of the big consolidation in the automotive industry, like the PSA merger, for example, this has generally been driven by global reach, whether it's for specific segments of the market in terms of socio-demographics, or the kind of global scale, so kind of actual geographical areas like certain countries, etc., where either the firms themselves or investors thought there would be some synergies that could be leveraged. Topic number 2, entry modes and market entry strategies. There are various options to expand globally, such as licensing, joint ventures, strategic alliances, M&A, mergers and acquisitions, and greenfield investments. All of them have specific use cases and advantages and disadvantages in terms of the entry mode, and there are various considerations that would need to be made for selecting a more suitable approach. Generally, what we've seen is that when it's something longer term, automotive companies generally try to at least have the opportunity for kind of long-term gain from some of these collaborations. So they actually try to have a stake in a partnership. For example, if we think about specific joint ventures, I mean, some of them, think about the ones in, China, they're regulatory driven. The Chinese government basically said, you can't sell in kind of the biggest growing market at the moment, China, unless you share knowledge, IP with us and enter a joint venture. And it's usually 50% owned by a foreign, from the Chinese perspective, automotive OEM, and 50% owned by a Chinese partner. And well, I'm not going to comment too much about it, but this is kind of one kind of type of partnership that's quite substantial. Equally, there are, in, for example, the battery technology space, where companies have partnered also around kind of green hydrogen and similar, where companies have invested through, for example, joint ventures to kind of have a joint interest and after all create or leverage synergies. Topic number 3, adaptation to local market conditions. There are all sorts of considerations that need to be made. For example, cultural differences, customer preferences, regulatory requirements, infrastructure considerations in international markets, etc. And to adapt successfully globally, automotive companies have to have a very kind of distinct approach to regions across the globe. For example, for my doctoral research, I interviewed managers from across the globe, but one that's kind of still very prominent in my mind is an interview with one of the CEOs in South Africa, a very unique market. You've got some kind of fairly westernized or kind of well-off clients around kind of Johannesburg and similar, and then in other areas you kind of the interviewees said they struggle to keep their lights on and they don't think about kind of electric vehicles if they can't run their toaster whenever they want because the grid is so unstable. So their companies had to kind of be very aware of some of these differences, kind of coupled with some of the kind of, they had this Black empowerment movement where they actively try to develop leaders from the region for the region. That was really important to their strategy. So some of these considerations that are very unique to distinct markets definitely need to be made, and where also if there is this level of ignorance that where companies just think they know what they're doing and just want to sell a given product from one market into another. And there are quite a lot of prominent examples where this didn't work. Which leads me on to the next topic, regional focus. There are opportunities and challenges in mature markets such as North America, Europe, and Japan, and also lots of opportunities in especially growth markets like China, India, Southeast Asia, Latin America, where kind of lots of these areas that we discussed previously are really important, especially this understanding of unique differences, what products work, don't work. Again, India is a very interesting market where lots of foreign OEMs try to sell their products and competed with the likes of Mahindra and some of the other kind of Tata products, and they just weren't successful because they didn't understand, I don't know, some of the regulatory compliance, just as one example, and this huge important, or some of these Western quality characteristics aren't as important compared to, I don't know, price and similar. So they just weren't successful in some of these markets. Topics number 5, government regulation and trade policies. Again, topic of huge importance, lots of areas. It's a kind of ticket to entry, a license to operate, as opposed to kind of a nice to have. So there are considerations around tariffs, trade agreements, import-export regulations, emission standards, safety requirements, localization policies. All of these areas need to be considered in a kind of globalized world. Generally, of course, to navigate a complex regulatory landscape, continuous sensing and sizing is really important to ensure kind of global compliance in terms of or when operating in international markets. For example, one in the kind of electric vehicle bike segment that is really important is this CE certification that we need when we sell any electric product in Europe, and in the European Union, I believe. And there were lots of e-bikes that were imported from kind of China specifically that didn't have the certifications, and it led to kind of lawsuits here in the European Union where they just didn't meet the kind of safety standards. So all of these considerations, they're hugely important, also to avoid hefty legal fees and ensure safety. Topic number 6, brand localization and marketing strategies. There are various approaches for building brand awareness, establishing distribution channels, and engaging with local customers. In terms of effective marketing campaigns and brand positionings, there are various good examples of successful strategies. Thinking about some of the automotive campaigns, for example, The Audi brand has been very prominent to articulate their characteristics